All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you for joining us in our JALT Niigata workshop. Title is TeacherTools.Digital, Digital Assignments for the 21st Century Teachers. My name is Phil, and on behalf of the JALT Niigata and JALT, we'd like to welcome you to our workshop. We have a great presentation here, along with different things that are going to be useful for your online digital classrooms, wherever you may be. Real quickly, I'll go over some rules here. Let me move forward here. Okay. So real quickly, for those of you that are new and maybe not from Japan, I'll talk a little bit what JALT is. I'll talk a little bit about the housekeeping rules of a webinar and how it's a little different than your typical presentation. And then Melody will introduce our speaker today. And then I believe both during and after we'll have Q&A time. All right, let's move forward here. So quick thank you to all of our JALT Niigata team today. You can see we have a great staff and great executive members here that help us create what you see here. So a big shout out to them for always doing the hard work for us all year long, and we hope that you continue to support us. All right. So what is JALT? So JALT stands for Japan Association for Language Teaching. Real quickly, it's just the MPO. We're dedicated to improving language teaching and learning. Various areas of expertise, different SIGs, experts in different areas that you can come and join and just learn about all these different ways of teaching to our students. And yes, even students can join. And yes, even overseas members can join as well. So we have something for everybody. So if you're interested in joining, check out our website, jalt.org. Okay. A little bit about the webinar housekeeping rules. Okay. All of your attendees that are joining us, all of your videos are disabled by default, so we won't be able to see you at all. Your mics will also be muted. If you would like to say something at the end, we will be able to unmute you and you'll be able to speak to any of us directly. Okay. Something a little different today, we have a Q&A button instead. So if you'd like to ask questions throughout the webinar presentation or in our workshop, please use the Q&A button to ask, and then our speaker will be able to, or ourselves will be able to answer them in a timely manner. Okay. During the presentations and workshops, the chat function will be unavailable. We like to give full attention to our speakers. During our breaks and before and after the presentations, we'll keep it open. We'll leave it open for everyone to kind of chat and say their piece. Okay. A recording of this will be available at a later date once we get through the post editing. We'll have it available and be put up on our website. Okay. And then the post survey, once you leave, there'll be a post survey email coming to you the following day. So please fill that out to help us improve our workshops. And then finally, as always, please enjoy yourselves. This will be a great presentation. We have a lot of great things to tell you. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me pull out my wonderful people here. All right, Melody, it's all you. You can go ahead and introduce us.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Melody Cook, I'm the program chair. And since we've all been stuck at home during this pandemic, we thought this would be a new way to reach out to new members and people all over. We had first envisioned just reaching our membership in Japan, and happily, as evidenced by today's participants, we're opened up to the whole world, which is fantastic. So thank you very much for coming. Some of you are awake at a very late hour, and we appreciate your being here today. We have been doing a variety of talks. Earlier on in our sessions, we featured Jose Domingo Cruz talking about best practices. We have had panels on teaching children. Our most recent panel was on assessment, as some of us in Japan anyway are nearing the ends of our semester. And now our guest today is Paul Raine. He's been working on useful apps for a long time. I've attended some of his presentations over the years. And I thought it would be great. Looks like many of us will be continuing to teach online in the coming semesters. We don't know how much longer we're going to be at home, so the more tools we have, the better our classes will be. So welcome to Paul, and let's get started.
Thank you very much, Melody. Yes, my name is Paul Raine. I think I recognize some of the names in the audience, but I don't know all of you, so it's nice to meet you. And I'd just like to know, before we start, a little bit about your teaching context, and if you're teaching English or other languages, maybe you could type it in the chat, just so I know who I'm talking to. So I think most people in the audience are English teachers, but the site that I'm introducing today will also be useful for other languages. It's mainly been developed to teach English, and it was originally called EFL.Digital. The name has changed now to TeacherTools.Digital. So if you'd like to follow along on any of the activities that I'm showing today, the address you need to input into your web browser is TeacherTools.Digital. There's no www and there's no .com. So let me talk a little bit about myself, and then I'll move on to introduce the site. So my name is Paul Raine. I have a master's degree in TESOL from the University of Birmingham. I'm mainly interested in computer-assisted language learning, CALL, or perhaps technology-enhanced language learning, TEL. I have a book available called 50 Ways to Teach with Technology. It's on Amazon. And I've also done a little work with graded readers, a company in Japan called Atamari, as a graded reader called Journey to Mars. If you want to know more about me and follow my work, you need to access paulsensei.com. That's my home site. And the site that I'm talking about today is TeacherTools.Digital. I also, on my home blog, I keep a list of tech tips. So if you click on the tech tips section category, you'll find the tech tips that I've been accumulating since around about 2013, mainly from JALT and other conferences. So let me move on to introduce today's main topic. Today's main topic is a platform called TeacherTools.Digital. And it's a platform for creating, administering a range of different language teaching and testing assignments. It covers all 4 skills of speaking, listening, reading, and writing. It's compatible with smartphones, tablets, desktops, laptops, and it runs on all modern browsers. Older browsers such as Internet Explorer do not handle modern web apps very well. So if your school or your students are still using Internet Explorer, I highly recommend that they upgrade to Google Chrome or Firefox or even Safari. It's worth noting that even Microsoft now recommends against using Internet Explorer. It's not safe, it's not secure, and it's not compatible with the majority of modern web apps. My site, students do not, TeacherTools.Digital students do not register. So I think most of you are probably familiar with the idea of an LMS, a learner management system. Probably all of you already have an LMS at your school. I actually would like to know what LMS you're using. So if you could type in the chat which LMS you are mainly using, that would be useful to me. For example, Moodle, is anyone using Moodle? Blackboard, Google Classroom, Manaba. So this platform, TeacherTools.Digital, is not an LMS. students do not sign up with the site. I would describe this as being more similar to Google Forms. If you have used Google Forms before, could you give me a thumbs up in the reaction? Do we have a reaction? Reactions available?
I don't believe they are.
Okay. Oh, we can't see people's. Okay. Yeah. Maybe just type yes in the chat.
That's all right.
So when you think about Google Forms, you go in, you might create a quiz, and then it will generate a link, a URL. So when I say URL or link, it's the same thing. And then you provide that link to whoever you would like to submit that form. So TeacherTools.Digital works in a similar way to Google Forms. Teachers log in to the platform using their Google or Microsoft account. So you have to have a Google or Microsoft account to use TeacherTools.Digital. And when you've done that, you can start making assignments immediately. You do not need to register with the site. Your students do not need to register with the site. They simply input their details when they submit an assignment. So all of that trouble connected to students forgetting passwords, students not being able to log into the site, all of that is avoided. When a teacher makes an assignment, a link is generated, and this is passed to your students. Links can also be posted on the LMS of your choice, including Google Classroom, Blackboard, Moodle, or any other LMS that allows you to post a link. TeacherTools.Digital currently offers 8 different assignment types. And I'm going to introduce each of them briefly at the beginning, and then I'm going to hopefully demonstrate each of those in more detail. The first one is an audio recording that allows your students to record a spoken response to any question. The second is a multiple choice quiz, which you might be familiar with from Moodle or from Google Forms. The difference with the TeacherTools.Digital is that you can actually add audio to the quiz. So the question and the options can be read out with a synthesized voice, and it can be done as a listening quiz. Read Aloud utilizes speech recognition to allow students to practice speaking, and it will provide automatic feedback on whether their speech was recognized or not. Text gap fill allows you to create a quiz from any text by removing the words. So this is quite a common activity. It's also known as a cloze activity, C-L-O-Z-E. Sometimes it's known as a gap fill, sometimes it's known as filling the gaps. In Japanese, it's ana ume mondai. I think most teachers have used this at some point in their careers. The TeacherTools.Digital version has some innovative features, for example, speech synthesis and some other features which I'm going to demonstrate later. Text to test allows you to convert any text into a vocabulary and grammar test. So this will scan the text and generate word definitions for all of the words in the text, and then allow the teacher to curate the definitions and then create a vocabulary and grammar test from those words. Video gap fill allows you to use any subtitled YouTube video as a teaching or testing assignment. It has to have English, Spanish, French, or German subtitles. And by the way, all of these activities are compatible with English, French, Spanish, and German. Officially, my site officially supports English, Spanish, French, and German. Some activities will obviously work with any language. For example, audio recording will work with any language, but we don't officially support them. So we only officially support those 4 languages. The only activity that doesn't work with French, English, French, Spanish, and German is the Read Aloud, which currently only works with English. The next activity is a video recording, which is similar to audio recording, except that it's with a video. And we also have a written report activity. So I'm going to start with audio recording, and I'm going to demo this myself, and then I think I will put a link into the chat so you members of the audience can experience what the student would experience when submitting the assignment. So if you click on audio recording, by the way, I'm looking at the About page now. The About page has demos of all of the activities that you can try, and click on the link. And you'll see that there's a prompt, there's an image, and there's a microphone button. You can customize the prompt. As a teacher, you can customize the prompt and you can customize the image. And you can also set the time limit up to maximum of 5 minutes. There is a big database of questions. This is one kind of TOEFL independent speaking style question. And this is a good way for students to practice for the TOEFL. So, as a student, I take a minute to think about my answer, and then I click the microphone button and I speak my answer. My best friend is called Bob. He lives in Japan, and he is a nice guy. So I've recorded my answer there. Students can preview their recording immediately. I'm not sure how well this will come through, because it's going to come through my speaker and then into my webcam, so it may be a little bit fuzzy or echoey, but that's just a consequence of the Zoom and not the platform. My best friend is called Bob. He lives in Japan, and he's a nice guy. Was that coming through okay?
Yeah, I heard.
Yes, that was fine.
I can actually share the audio, because a lot of these activities have audio. So I wonder if I should reshare and I should enable audio, or just stick with the speaker.
I think either or would be okay. Whichever one would probably be best for you.
Okay, I'll stick with the speaker. So when students are satisfied with their answer, they click on Submit, and they input their details. So this is what I was talking about. Students input their details when they submit an assignment. You can customize this, what information that you require. So you can require just a name, you can require a name and an email, or you can require a name and an email and an ID number. In Japan, I don't know about other countries, but in Japan, every student has a gakuseki bango, which is kind of the register number. And that number uniquely identifies the student, and that allows the platform to prevent duplicate submissions. So if they try to submit the same assignment twice, they will be prevented from doing so. And that's an option. So I put in my name and my email. And click on OK. And it takes a couple of seconds to upload and submit. And that audio file has now been submitted, and the students can double check their submission. My best friend is called Bob, and I'm going to show you where that submission has gone to. So as a teacher, you can create folders . And the folders contain the assignments. So what I generally do is create a folder for every class that I teach. And then the folder name is the name of the class. And that helps me to keep all my assignments organized in one place. Here we can see, this is the assignment. I have 2 submissions. If I click on this green block here and click on View, that will show me all the submissions for that assignment. And my submission is both of them. This is one that I submitted a few weeks ago, and this is one I submitted just now. My best friend is called Bob. Oh, sorry, I think that's the one from a few weeks ago, and this is the one I submitted just now. My best friend is called Bob. That's it. Now you'll notice there's a bit of a difference between the two. This one has a send feedback button, and this one does not. If you require students to input their email address, you will have this send feedback button, and that allows you to send feedback to the student. You can give a comment. If it's an audio recording, this feedback function works with audio recordings, video recordings, and written reports. With audio, with all three, if you with an essay, you can annotate the text and you can actually comment on the text. With the audio and video, if you have enabled the transcript, you can annotate the transcript and give comments on the transcript. And with all three, you can also give comments separately from the transcript. Oops. So whatever feedback you want to give, you would then save that, and then it would allow you to click on the send feedback button, and that will be emailed to the student, your feedback. Let me show you an example with the transcript. So I'll also show you how to set up this audio recording as well. So to create an audio recording, you would go to the folder that you want to use for that assignment. You click on audio recording, and you have two choices. You can choose a template, or you can create a new recording. The template option will show you a library of kind of pre-made assignment types. For example, there's a question here about the human body. It has an image attached to it. There's a question about happiest childhood memory. So if you just want to very quickly create a question, and you don't have much time to type in all of the kind of information yourself, you can just use one of these from the library. And when teachers create assignments, they can add the assignment to the library. That's an option. So it's off by default, but if you would like to share your template with other teachers on the site, and I'm hoping some teachers will do that, you can do that. Let me go back. I don't want to use this function. So I'm going to click on Create New. And input the title of my assignment. And if I want to, I can attach some media. I can. By the way, I'm going to go through all of this just for the audio, but some features are available for every assignment. So this attaching media is available for every assignment type. So you can attach it to audio, video, text close, any of the assignments I showed you at the beginning. You can attach your own media. So if I want to attach an audio, if I want to have myself speaking and then students respond to that, I can do it. A video, I can use a video from YouTube, or I can use a video that I have on my computer. I can use an image, and I can even use a PDF. This is a very useful function if I want students to respond to a news article from the BBC, for example. If I want them to read something from Wikipedia or any other source of information, I just have to add a PDF here. So let me show you how that works quickly. I often use Wikipedia because it's a good source of kind of free English texts. And you may be familiar with the English Wikipedia, but you may not know that there is also a simple Wikipedia, which you can access by typing in simple.wikipedia.org. And the usual Wikipedia is en.wikipedia.org. So if you just access the regular Wikipedia and change en to simple, it will load to simple. And on the simple Wikipedia, all of the articles are a little simplified, and they are more suitable for learners of English. And I can download a PDF from here. And let me save this to my desktop. Okay, it's taking a little time. I'll leave that loading for a second, and I'll show you the next feature. So after I've attached my file, I can choose a speaking prompt. And I mentioned that there's a library of questions. If you click on Browse Prompts, and then it has a library of TOEFL independent questions. If you don't want to use any of these prompts, you can just type in your own response. So I could say, please describe your room. I can set a time limit here, 1 minute, maximum 5 minutes. And this is what I was talking about before. If you want to have a transcript, you can switch it on to manual here. That means that when a student has finished speaking, they actually have to listen back to their recording and then transcribe what they said. So this is a good way to analyze their answer, but it also has a pedagogical function. So it requires students to process their answer twice. And here you can choose a grammar check. So the grammar check is performed on the transcript, and you can select English, French, German, or Spanish. So I'm going to select English, and I'm going to save this assignment. See if that PDF is finished downloading. Yeah. So it wouldn't let me save because I had selected that I wanted to attach a PDF, but I hadn't actually attached it. So I'm going to do that now. Sorry, my web browser is running a little slowly. Okay, and that has uploaded, and then I can see that the PDF is there. By the way, you should make sure that you have the legal rights to any file that you upload to EFL.Digital. Sorry, that's the old site name, TeacherTools.Digital. But any media, image, video, etc., that you have the legal rights to, you are welcome to upload to the platform. I'm actually going to remove this because it doesn't connect to my question. I just wanted to show you, I wanted to demo that feature. So I'm going to remove this now, and then click on Save. Now, if everyone is, if not everyone, then if a few people are willing to allow their voices to be recorded for the purposes of this presentation, that would be great. So I'm going to give you the link and put it in the chat. And if you click on the link, it should open a new browser window, and you will be able to submit the assignment I just created. So if we could get a couple of people to do that, so I can show you those submissions coming in, that would be really good. Phil, Melody, do you think a couple of people will be willing to do that?
I think it should be all right because all of the mics are muted, so they won't. They can do it in their own time while they're watching your presentation.
Okay.
At the same time.
All right. Thank you. So once you've given the link to the students, you want to see the submissions coming in. So you need to go back to the folder. And then you need to go to your assignment, which is, my one is here. And then you would click on the green box. Green means, by the way, the assignment is active. So I can turn this assignment off by clicking on this button here, and then it would turn red. But I want to leave it on. I click on View. And these are the submissions. So nobody has submitted this yet. If I click on the refresh button, it will check again. And I will be able to see when a submission comes in. I think I posted the link to all panelists by mistake. Let me try posting it to all attendees. Is that coming through now?
Yeah, that should have gotten through to everybody.
Thank you.
I sent one in.
Thank you. And that should that's something you have to watch out for on Zoom, because if your kind of chat is not if you selected a different group on the chat, the message won't go to the right people. So if you're distributing links on Zoom, be careful about that. So I now have one submission from Melody. Will she mind if we play her audio?
Go ahead.
Thank you. So the task was to describe her room. Let's see.
My room is a Japanese style room. Tummy flooring, paper door windows. Okay,
so you can see the audio has come through clearly, and the transcript is here. Obviously, Melody didn't actually type the transcript, but this would normally be the contents of the actual recording. And then you can see it's detected a kind of one issue. It's picked up on the fact that she repeated a word. So if the student had typed, I am, or something like that, it would pick up that. This picks up around 200 different types of error. And I'll show you more of those later, hopefully.
I put that in because I couldn't submit without typing something.
Thank you. Yes, if you have enabled the transcript, it will not let the students submit without filling that box in. So yeah, that's why it does that. Okay, so you can see submissions are coming through now. And on the right side here, I have the list of submitters, and I can search for the student name here. If I just type in part of the name, I can do that. Yeah. Okay, so that's the audio assignment. I'm going to move on to the next assignment type. And please feel free to ask questions at any time. Sorry, I just noticed a question in the Q&A. I guess people are posting their questions to the Q&A and not to the chat. Is that right?
They're doing both. We would like to have them do Q&A. So, but if you want to answer them as you go along, please feel free to. Okay, so I have the Q&A open as well as the chat now. So I'll look at both. The new Microsoft Edge browser does work. So yes, it's compatible with Microsoft Edge, yes. But if you're on Windows, as a point of principle, I would still recommend using Chrome.
Okay, I'm going to move on to the next next assignment. Next assignment type is multiple choice quiz. Let me demo making one and then submitting one. So I go back to my folder. Click on multiple choice quiz, click create new. My multi-choice. Okay, so this is where I can define the questions. I can actually import here from a spreadsheet as well. So if I want to save a bit of time, or if I have some data in a spreadsheet, I can actually import from a spreadsheet. So it has to be question, answer, distractor, 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 distractor. Distractors are the answers that are the options that are not correct. So if I create a new spreadsheet, and could somebody in the chat maybe type an example question that they might want to use with their students? I'll try and keep this interactive. What kind of questions do you ask to your students, or what kind of phrases do you want to teach them? Did anyone type an example? So one example might be, how is the weather? So that would be the question. And the correct answer would be, it's sunny. And the distractor might be, I don't know whether I will. Or it could be, yes, please. Okay, so we have that one, and then let's add one more. How many people live in your house? Let's try that one. I can't copy and paste from the chat right now, so I have to type it in manually. Okay, so we have a couple of examples there. Obviously, you could fill this in with more questions, or they could be other questions, like they could actually be factual questions, like what is the capital city of Japan? Tokyo. Yokohama. Okay, and then I would copy this. And I would go to my quiz, click on import, paste, and click OK. And then it should add those questions here. You can see they've been added here. The first question I can get rid of. So now I have, how is the weather? And I have, how many people live in your house? And what is the capital city of Japan? So I want the first two to be listening questions, and I want the number 3 to be reading. So I'll leave that one without a text-to-speech checked, and I will, on these two, I will enable text-to-speech. So it takes a couple of seconds to load the audio, and then it has a list of voices, and it rotates the voices randomly, so the students will be exposed to a different range of accents, and also male and female voices as well. So if I click on save, And I copy the link, put the link in the chat. Okay, if everyone could have a go at submitting that assignment, please click the link in the chat. And I will also show it on my screen. So you can see the first two questions were listening questions, so the actual text is blanked out. And there is a speaker button in the top right corner. I click on this to listen to the audio.
How is the weather?
I don't know whether I will.
It's sunny.
Yes, please.
So you could hear that there were three answers with three different voices. So let me just play it again.
How is the weather?
I don't know whether I will.
It's sunny.
Yes, please.
And then each option is highlighted as it's spoken, so the student knows which one to check. So I think number 2 was the correct answer. And the next question.
How many people live in your house? 3, including me.
No, I could not.
That sounds wonderful. How many people live in your house? 3, including me.
No, I could not.
That sounds wonderful.
And the last question, Tokyo. Click on submit, my name. A couple of seconds for it to submit. And there we go. We can see that I got all the answers correct. And if I look into my my folder, I will see under my question here, click on view. I have 5 submissions. First one from Paul, 100%. A. Oliver Rose. Sanjeev Singhal. Melody. There we go. So these are now in my folder. Now you might want to then put those scores into your grade sheet. So how do you do that? You can do that easily by clicking on the download option here. If you click on this button, it will generate a spreadsheet. And you can see the spreadsheet has been saved to my desktop. If I double click on that, I probably don't want to show people's emails, do I? Do I want to show people's emails? Admin people?
I think not.
Okay, so you have to take my word for it. this spreadsheet will contain. There we go. Okay, when it was submitted, who the submitter is, and the email address of the submitter and the score. Okay, so that will allow you then to easily import that data into your spreadsheet, into your grade sheet. Sorry. Okay, so that's multiple choice quiz. Let me go on to the next one. Next assignment type is read aloud. This allows you to create a speaking test for any set of sentences. So let me go into my folder. Click on read aloud and create new. Could someone give me some simple phrases that you might teach your students? Some phrases for speaking practice, just so I know what kind of sentences you are teaching your students. Are there any other? Asking request. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but do you mean you want the student to practice making requests? Okay. So for example, something like that. Okay, so you have your sentences that you want the students to practice saying. Again, you can choose a voice here. We have a selection of voices. We have US English, we have UK English, we have Australian English. We also have French, Spanish, and German. So I'm going to go with the UK English voice. And if we want to, we can also hide the text prompts. So if you hide the text prompts, this will become an elicited imitation activity. Elicited imitation. Elicited imitation is actually a kind of a very well researched topic, and it means that students cannot just listen and repeat like a parrot, but they actually have to process the grammar, and in order to repeat the sentence, they have to process the grammar. And this is especially true for longer sentences. So if we could say something like something like that, you know, it's not as simple as just remembering what you heard. You actually have to understand, you know, informing, insinuating, mind, mean, etc. So that would be a lot more difficult for the student to memorize. But let's keep it simple for the time being, and click on the check button for every sentence. This is required to validate the sentence doesn't contain any words that do not exist. So if you type in like this, it will not allow you to create the activity. Okay, we have 3 sentences there. Click on detailed feedback. Click save. And copy the link, put it into the chat. Okay, please try this activity. And I will also try it on my computer. So click the speaker to listen.
What does this mean?
And then click the microphone to speak. What does this mean? You can see it's recognized all of my words correctly. If I do not pronounce the words, it will mark those words in red. What? What mean? So you can see that I didn't pronounce does this mean on the first attempt, and I didn't pronounce does this on the second attempt. So it's marked that for me. So this is a good way to check if students are actually able to produce the sentence in a comprehensible way, whether they're able to speak the sentence in a comprehensible way. Could you please pass me the cheese? Okay, and the next one. When is the homework due? So this activity is actually quite forgiving. I think even if your students have an accent, maybe in Japan a katakana accent or any other kind of accent, it should still recognize within reason. And there is a debate about whether we want students to speak like native speakers or not. Some people believe that as long as their speech is comprehensible, it doesn't matter if they have a strong accent. Others believe that they should be aiming for native speaker accents. I don't know, in this audience, what do you think? Do you think the test is comprehensibility, or do you think the test is sounding like a native speaker? Could you type in the chat what do you think? Yeah, it depends on the course, depends on the student as well, the student's own motivation. Maybe they want to live in the US and they want to sound like an American. Maybe they want to sound like a Canadian. But on the other hand, they could be learning English to communicate with a Korean business partner. So a Japanese business person could be learning English to communicate with a Korean business person. And then, sounding like a native speaker is kind of irrelevant as long as they are comprehensible to each other. So yeah, there's a little debate about that. But anyway, this activity, I would say, if you want to improve your pronunciation, and by improve, you mean to conform to native speaker norms, whether that's British English, American English, Canadian English, Australian English, or any other kind of English, this activity is not the best one. There are better activities out there for pronunciation training. I would say this is more for fluency, and especially if you turn off the text, which I can show you. We can show you with the text turned off. So this is how you have to clear submissions in order to actually edit the assignment. So I'm going to clear the submissions. And then I'm going to edit the assignment. And I'm going to turn the text off. And then preview. Now you'll see it shows me how many words are in the target phrase, but it doesn't show me what the words are. I have to listen to the audio in order to know that.
What does this mean?
What does this mean? And now it's highlighting green for every word that was correct. So yeah, it's quite a versatile activity, and I think it's good for building fluency, building speaking confidence, and for the teacher to know that the student can pronounce the target phrases and words in a comprehensible way without having to actually listen to the transcript themselves. If you have a class of, say, 50 students, you might not have the time to listen to every single recording. It might be a good place to take a break. Would that be good? Would that be okay?
Yes, that would be fine.
Yeah. Should we take a 10-minute break and allow people to...
Yes, let's take a 10-minute break. Yeah. So everyone go and have a drink of whatever time it is. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. And you can chat with each other. The chat's open. And if you also have any questions, please put them in the Q&A. We have one question here from Claire, actually, Paul. Mm-hmm. Can you change the speed of the audio?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Okay. Shall I demo that now or after the break?
After the break.
Okay, yeah. Yes, you can. You can change the speed of the audio, and you can also insert a pause between words as well. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get a glass of water.
Claire, can I ask where you're teaching?
Yeah, I teach at Niigata University, so I was wondering if the students could change it rather than the teacher.
Not at the moment, no.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so at the moment, the activity is set up by the teacher, and then the students just respond to the activity.
Okay, yeah, because I know that some of depending on the level of the student, the speed of which it's said may be a little bit too fast for some.
Yeah,
that was all.
yeah, for sure, yeah, I understand, yeah. Anjo, am I pronouncing that correctly? Anjo? Anjo Feria?
If you want to talk to any of the attendees, they'll have to raise their hand so I can unmute them.
Okay. I just, yeah, I mean, the attendee can maybe type their answer, but they can't speak. Is that right?
I think, yep, if they raise their hand, I can, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can pull that out. There we go. Okay, the raise hand is open, so if you want to talk to Paul directly, please raise your hand. I'll let you go ahead and talk. Oh, we got someone here.
Anjo was asking, is it a free app? There is a free plan and a premium plan.
Yep.
So you can sign up as a teacher. You sign up on the free plan. You can do everything that I'm showing you here today, but there are some limits. So if you find the site useful and you are using it regularly, I highly recommend that you upgrade to the premium plan. Students do not need to register and cannot register. So I said in the beginning of the presentation, this is kind of like Google Forms. If you imagine Google Forms, you create a form, and then it gives you a link, and then you give the link to the students. The students then submit the link, and then you receive the results of the form. It works in a very similar way to that. Let me bring up the pricing page so people can look at that while they're having a break. The same, I think that was probably the same question as before to 1WJ7, SAB, KK, B6, etc. If you look at the screen, you can see the different plans. There is a free plan available to every user, but there are limits. So if you use the site regularly and you find it useful, I recommend you upgrade the plan. Also, I'd like to mention that I'm going to be offering a special price to the attendees of this webinar. I'm going to be offering a coupon for 20% off the premium price. So, of course, you'll be able to use the site for free if you decide to stick with the free plan. But if you would like to upgrade to premium, I'm going to be offering 20% off. And if you contact me on the contact page, and let me know that you're interested, and please ask me for the coupon code. I will provide it to you. So 20% coupon, 20% off coupon is available to all attendees. Please contact me here. And ask me for the coupon code.
All right. Paul, are you all set to continue on?
Yes, I'm ready to continue. Yes.
All right, everyone want to take their virtual seats. We'll go ahead and restart here, and we'll move to the next half of the presentation.
Okay.
Yep, whenever you're all set, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I'd like to continue to show the different kinds of assignments that are available. I've already shown audio recording, multi-choice quiz, and read aloud. And I'd like to show, the next one is called text gap fill. Let me show you how to create one. So again, I'm using some text from Wikipedia here, but you can use any text that you have, anything maybe from a news, the BBC News website, CNN, any text that you want your students to read, you can copy and paste into the activity. And just have to sign back in again. I'm going to create an assignment. I'm going to create a text gap fill, create new. Oops. Actually, let's keep this a little bit topical. Let's do one on Niigata. Two eyes, it's two eyes, isn't it? Yeah. So I paste the text into the box, remove some bits I don't need. Okay, and then this activity works when there is a line break, when there is a carriage return. That's classed as a separate sentence, a separate speech for the speech synthesis. So I want to put in some line breaks for that reason. Okay, and then I click on remove words and choose my voice. So I had a question before, can you slow down the voice, or can you add a word pause? Yes, you can. So I want to choose a different voice. This time I'll go for Nicole, Australian English. I can bring the speed down to 80%, and I can also add a word pause. So I'm going to do that. And then I can choose which of these sentences I actually want to have speech on by checking the box. And then I can choose which words I want to remove from the test. So I want to remove prefecture, population, and capital. For those ones, I want to remove metropolitan and features. So the last two I haven't checked. So the last two will be reading tests, and the first three will be, the first four will be listening tests. So I can also choose the answer mode. So there's either type or select. Usually I choose typing when I have the audio enabled, and I choose select when the audio is not enabled. But here I have a mixture of audio and no audio, so I think I'll leave it on typing. And choose to, by the way, this section here is to decide what you would like to show to the submitter after they have submitted the test. So you can show just a submission received, you can show just the score, or you can show the score and all of the corrections of the text as well. So I always click on detail feedback because I want you guys to see, you know, all of the highest level of feedback that you can, that is available. So I'm going to click on save. And create the link. I'm going to put this into the chat. Please feel free to submit this activity, or feel free, please, could you submit it if you don't mind? And that allows me to show off the submissions feature. And actually, I'm just going to switch off the email just so we don't have that coming up. So in the account section, you have a settings panel, and under submissions, you can choose which information you require. I'm going to turn off the email requirement and then click on save. And now when people submit the assignment, they will be only required to input their name and not their email address. One WJ7SAB, etc., has just asked if it's forbidden to use a teacher-adapted or modified version of an article from the internet as a springboard for a test. As far as I'm concerned, you need to have the rights for anything that you upload to my site. So if you're not sure, you probably should check whether or not you have the rights. If you believe that you have the rights to that material, then I think it's okay. In certain countries, there are educational use exceptions for copyright. There are fair use exceptions for copyright. So it's not, I cannot give you any legal advice about that. So if you're asking me if it's forbidden by law, it depends on what country you're in, it depends on what material you're using, it depends on how much of the material you're using, it depends on the purposes for which you are using the material. There's so many considerations. Does anyone else have any more information about that? Because for me, I just have to say, you know, you have to have the rights to the material. If anyone knows any more about that, please could you type it in the chat? I do know that recently, if you're in Japan, there was a kind of a very controversial announcement about copyright law. See if I can find the article. I can't find it now, but there was a news article published that was saying that Japan was suspending copyright law for the duration of a corona to allow teachers to publish, you know, textbooks, to share textbooks online. But I don't know in detail about that. But I'll try and find the link, and I'll put it in the chat later if I can find it. But I wouldn't act on that too hastily. I do have a story actually. I have another friend who's involved in education technology, and one of his users submitted a file that an audio recording that had a commercial song playing in the background. That recording was shared on a forum, and he was asked to remove it by the owners of by the copyright owners. So even if the song is playing in the background and it's not the main part of the recording, it could still cause problems. I'm going to check the submissions on the text gap fill. You can see I have 2 submissions. And I can see the answers here. So not only can I see the score, but I can also see exactly which questions were answered correctly and which ones, were incorrect. Okay, so that's text gap fill. I think I covered the main features. I'd like to show you the next one is called text to test. This one allows you to generate a test from any text that you have. Let me show you how to create one. Okay, click on Create New. Okay, so I copied the text here. I put in the in here, put the text in here. Just remove some bits I don't need. Okay, and then I think I want to add an image to this one, so I'm going to just borrow an image from Wikipedia. And these images are definitely okay for copyright. So if you're using anything from Wikipedia, if it's images or text, you have no worries about copyright because it's actually Creative Commons. So that's why I always use Wikipedia for these kind of demonstrations. There we go. And here I have to define what language the text is in. So again, it works with English, Spanish, German, and French. And here I can define which language I would like the definitions in. Do we have any speakers of these languages in the audience, just so I can show you another language? Does anyone speak any of these languages? Obviously Japanese, a few people probably speak Japanese. German, okay. Let me go with English then, because I think that will be the most accessible. So I'm going to do English to English. So it's going to give me an English definition for the English words. And I click on Process. And it's come back with the vocabulary here. So it scanned the text automatically for the key vocabulary, and this also does it does single words and it also does phrases, but there are no phrases matched in this text, so it's only single words. Then I choose the words that I want to test. So I want to test stadium. I want to test swan. I want to test attendance. And if I think that the definition needs to be modified, I can do that. So I can just delete part of the definition. I want to test capacity. And if I want to, I can completely rewrite the definition as well. So I might want a definition which is more precise for that specific context. I can rewrite it like that. And then the grammar, I choose which sentences I would like to test. So I'm going to just do the first 4 maybe. Detailed feedback is on, and text-to-speech, I can enable text-to-speech. Let's choose an American voice, Joanna. Let's click set voice. Now if I want to, I can turn this into a listening activity. So if I click on hide text, then it will have the audio, but it will not have the text. If I leave this hide text off, it will have the audio and the text. If I get rid of the text-to-speech, it will have just the text. So I'm going to have the hide text is off, so it will have the text and the audio. Click on save. I'm going to put the link in the chat for people who want to try it out. And then I'm going to click on preview. So you see now I have the image, I have the text, and I have the audio. When I click on the audio, it will read the text, and it will also highlight the sentence that is being read. So it helps the students to listen and read at the same time.
The Denki Big Swan Stadium, also nicknamed the Big Swan, is a multi-purpose stadium in Niigata City, Japan. It is the home ground of J2 League club JALT Niigata and was one of the 20 stadia used in the 2002 FIFA World Cup, hosting 3 matches.
I can go back and repeat.
Japan. It is the home ground of J.
Okay, so that will allow me to listen to and read the article. Click on next. This next section is actually showing me the definitions for the vocabulary. So this allows students to check the definitions before they are tested on the vocabulary. If you choose to make this a listening test, this vocabulary section is hidden. So you can hide this section if you check the option to hide the text. And I'm going to, you see my definition that I input is shown there. I'm going to click on next. And then I have a vocabulary test. And I have the grammar test. And the grammar test requires me to unscramble the sentences. So this one's a little bit difficult, so I'm just going to get this one wrong. This one might also be wrong. And this one is correct. Click on submit, put my name. And my vocabulary section is correct. My sentences section, I got a couple wrong. These sentences are actually probably a little bit long. If I was doing this for real, I probably would choose slightly shorter sentences. So this number 1 here is a good example. Number 4 is a good example. And I can see I got 75%. If I go back to my submissions, I can see if anyone in the audience has submitted this. We only have one submission. Okay, so that's the text-to-test assignment. I'm going to go on to the next one. The next one is video gap fill. In video gap fill, you can use any subtitled YouTube video to create a listening test. Let me demo how it works. Could someone in the chat, could you provide some topics or some titles that I could search for on YouTube? A member of the audience. Oh, virtual identity, that's an interesting one. Scam baiting, education, pollution. Okay, I'm going to go for pollution because I think there probably should be quite a few videos on that. I'm going to put in pollution here. I have a little tip for you. After you search for the topic that you're looking for, you have to click on filter and then click subtitles/CC, and this will return only the videos that have subtitles, and then they can be used for the text for the video gap fill activity. And I actually know Kurzgesagt is a really good channel, and they have really high quality videos, so I'm going to try using this one. Not every video works, even if it has subtitles, sometimes it doesn't work. So I'm going to check if this works. Hopefully it will work. But sometimes the creator of the video disables the subtitles. So let's see if we can get this video working. Okay, so it does work. So I have a title. The title is filled in automatically from the name of the video, but I can change it if I want. And then I have the video here, and I have the subtitles here. Then in this one, because some videos are really, really long, you can pick and choose which lines exactly you would like to test, and then the video will jump to that section. So I'm going to jump to here. Okay, and I want to test 3 lines of dialogue. This one, and this one. So I click on the show line, and then I choose the word I want to remove. In this test, there is no typing, there is no selection option because the audio is always present. And the selection is a little bit easy if you have the audio track. So for this assignment type, there is only typing. And then I will copy the link and allow you to try it and also preview it. Okay, so I have the video here and I have my lines of dialogue here, and then I click on the little blue button to start the video at that point. By the way, this button here will not work. The students cannot start the video from here. They have to use one of the buttons next to the lines of dialogue. So I'm going to click on the first one.
More than 6.3 billion metric tons of plastic have become waste since 1907.
And I can pause the video and I can input my answer. And I can repeat it.
More than 6.3 billion metric tons. More than 6.3 billion metric tons of.
And I can go to the next line.
Piled up in one place, that makes a cube with a side length of 1.9 kilometers. So what did we do with all this waste?
There we go. So that allows me to easily create a very engaging listening activity from any subtitled YouTube video. And I'm going to click on submit. And my answers were correct. And if I go to my folder, and click on my, go to that category, video gap fill, plastic pollution, check the submissions. Yep, I can see my submission and one other submission here. Okay, so that is video gap fill. And I'm going to go on to the next one. Next one is called video recording. This is very, very similar to the audio recording. I'm kind of running out of time. I'm not sure if I need to demo it. It's basically exactly the same as the audio recording, except with video.
Paul,
so, yeah.
Paul,
yeah.
we have no time limits really. So if you go over a little bit, that's not a problem.
Oh, okay, thank you very much.
It's up to you. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I don't want to bore people too much as well, but it's better to be thorough, isn't it? It's better to be thorough. Okay, so let me.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Let me be thorough and show this one as well. So I won't show the creation because it's exactly the same. Creating the video recording assignment is exactly the same as creating the audio recording. You add a question. You set the time limit, you decide whether you want to have a transcript or not, and you add an image, and then you can create the video recording. I'll demo how the submission looks like. So here I have my submission. Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Use details and examples to explain your answer. Snakes should never be kept as pets. So I take a time to plan my answer and then click on start. And then I have my video is preview is visible here. And I have a record button and a stop button. On mobile, by the way, on iOS and I think also on Android, this will not be shown. It will be a choose video button. And then they click on the choose video button and then they'll be able to record and submit. But the interface is a little different on mobile, but it does work. I think snakes would make very good pets because they could help to clear your house of rodents such as mice. And then I can click on play to listen to my recording. I think snakes would make very good pets because they could help to clear your house of rodents such as mice. And if I'm happy with my recording, I can submit it. Otherwise, I can record again. And it takes a couple of seconds to upload. Even the video shouldn't take that long to upload because we're using Amazon, and Amazon is very quick on the back end. It does take a couple of seconds to convert the video, so it's not immediately visible to the students. They have to reload to be able to show that. The submission. Okay. I think snakes would make very good pets because they could help to clear your house of rodents such as mice. Okay. And if I go to the folder, and if I look at my video recording, submissions, view, I can see my submission there. And I want to talk about, finally, I want to talk about a written report. So, part-time teachers, especially in Japan, we might teach 20 comma a week. We might have 3 written assignments for every class. We might have to give feedback on 2 drafts. So 20 times 3, 60 times 2. We might easily have over 100 assignments to grade per semester. So I think it's very good to have an efficient way to do that. And this written report function helps you to be more efficient in grading written reports. So I'm going to create a new written report. I'm going to click on here. This time I think I'm going to choose a template. So I want to show you this function. You click on choose a template, and these are some pre-made activities. I'd like to do this one here. This is kind of a start to a short story. So the students have to finish the story. So I'm going to click on use. And short story. And please continue the story. And with this assignment, I can set a word limit. So this is for a minimum word limit. So I want students to write minimum 10 words. And I can also set a maximum. So I want students to write a maximum of, say, 40 words. I can also set a time limit. If I do not have a word limit, I can choose to set a time limit instead. And I can enable or disable copy and paste. So if you are worried about students plagiarizing their reports or using machine translation, this helps to mitigate or reduce the possibility of those kind of behavior. And check grammar will be on, and the grammar check will be English. And this one, I click update. And then I want to give you the link. Okay, so please feel free to try this out. So I have the prompt here, and then I have to click start to begin writing because there is a time limit, and the time limit will start when in this case there is no time limit, but if there is one, then that's why the start button exists. But anyway, we have a start button for even when there's no time limit, so you have to click start before you can start typing. And I'm going to click start. All right, so I have my story, and then I have the word count here. I can see I've actually gone over the words, so I will not be able to submit this because I wrote too much. So I'm going to reduce a little bit. Okay, now I'm into the, my word count is green, so it means that I'm in range. And I click on submit. Type in my name. And I didn't make any grammar mistakes, so I only have a couple of points here. It's picked up on the fact that I had these dots, so that's a kind of minor issue. Let me show you again with a wider selection of the mistakes it detects. I'm just copying and pasting this text, which contains some common mistakes. And it's a little bit too long, so let's reduce it a little bit. Okay. So we've got, what do you think? So grammar checkers, we have a third person conjugation error. And we have please not, they are not perfect. We have a kind of a correlation, what would you call it? I guess it's a grammar error. And it also picks up a style issues. I think actually the style issue that is not such a big deal, so I'll get rid of that one. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so you can see that it has picked up on these errors. We had to see, which should have been to see. We had and few, so we had a, what's it called? An article error. It should be a few. We had of, repeated word. We had detected, spelling mistake. We had the conjugation error, you think. And we had please not. So I think it actually picks up a lot of the errors that our students tend to make, and it really, you know, saves a lot of time. If you spend a lot of time always circling the same kinds of errors over and over and over again, you know, this is going to be a big time saver for you. I also wanted to show you the feedback function, but to do that I have to switch on the email. So let me go back to my account and switch require email on. And I'm just going to stop sharing for 1 second. I just need to check something. Okay. Okay, so I want to show you the email going into my inbox. I just had to clear my inbox. So this is my inbox. I have the require email turned on. And I'm going to go back to that assignment. And I'm going to click on preview. Click start, paste my text. Click on submit. Okay, it takes a little time for the message to come through. So let me go back to the submissions. There we go. Okay, so you can see that the first email that comes through is actually a receipt of the submission. So this is one advantage of having the email turned on, is that students will receive a receipt of the submission of the assignment. So I can see that your submission for short story has been received, and then I can see the actual text that I submitted. So this is a one way to ensure that the students know that they have submitted the assignment. Also, it gives students a copy of the assignment text for their own records. And if this is an audio assignment, the audio is attached to the email as well. So the student has a copy of the audio as well. So if they come to you later and say, you know, I submitted the assignment, but you haven't got it in your inbox, you can say, oh, please show me your receipt. Sometimes, very occasionally, these emails go into the spam folder. With Gmail, normally it almost always goes into the inbox. With some other email providers, such as Hotmail, it might go into the spam. So you need to ask students to check the spam sometimes. But for the majority of students, there shouldn't be a problem. And I'm going to click on that submission. Now I can see I have the send feedback option because I required the email address. And now what I can do with this transcript is I can actually click and I can add comments. So okay, so that's now been added there. And then I don't want, let me see. Say one of these errors is not applicable, I can click it and then I can click on remove, and then that error will not be shown anymore. Or I want to change the text. And then I can add a comment. Click on save. And that will save the save my annotations and my changes. And I click on send feedback. And feedback is sent, and then it should be coming into my inbox. Yep, it's already there. Okay, so I can see the text. I can see the numbers of the corrections. And I can see each number connects to one of the numbers in the text. And my comments are at the end. So if you have previously been using paper to accept submissions and you can no longer do so because we're not teaching face-to-face, this is one very convenient solution. And even when we go back to face-to-face, if we do, I think that this is a much more efficient and convenient way to give feedback on essays. You know, the majority of the common errors are already spotted. You can get information about the metrics. So this information here shows you how many sentences were written, how many words per sentence on average, how many types and tokens. So a token is a word and a type is a unique word. So for example, the sentence, let me show you an example. The sentence, the cat sat on the mat, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tokens, but it only has 5 types because the is repeated. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types. So you can understand a little bit about student language ability because you can judge linguistic diversity. so if it was I've lost my language ability. Right, if I said the black cat, so immediately I know that this student is higher level than this one because they have a wider range of vocabulary. Yeah. So this TTR is called a type token ratio. And this is a measure of linguistic diversity. Linguistic variation, I guess. And this is a good marker of ability. So I use these metrics to help me to grade essays, and it really speeds up the process. So I recommend it for that purpose. There are loads of other features. I've covered all the main assignment types, but there are loads of other useful features that you can use in this platform. For example, you can rename folders, delete folders. You can import assignments. So if one of your colleagues has made an assignment, they can give you the code and then you can import it to your own account. You can copy all the links. So if you want to copy and paste all the assignments from one folder into your LMS, you can do that here. You can move folders, move the contents of an entire folder to a different folder. You can duplicate the contents of the folder. You can delete the contents of the folder. You can edit an assignment, preview an assignment, show a QR code for an assignment. You can get an embed code. So this can be embedded onto your LMS. So if you want the students to actually complete the assignment within your LMS, you can use the embed code. You can get the link, you can duplicate an assignment, you can move an assignment, you can export an assignment. This is the opposite of the import. So you give the code to your colleague and then they can use the assignment that you have created in their account. And you can delete an assignment. And when I delete an assignment, it will delete the assignment and all of the submissions. So you have to be careful when you delete assignments. You can upload files to add to your assignments. This is the file manager here. You can delete files. You can add files here, or you can add them when you create the assignment. And I think I've covered pretty much everything. In the account settings, you can require the student number for submissions and you can require the student email. You can also connect to your Google Classroom. So that means that you can post your assignment directly to Google Classroom. So if I go back to my previous assignments, if I have connected to Google Classroom, after I have created an assignment, I will see, oops, I have to clear the submissions before I can do this. I will see that there is a Google button here. So add to Google Classroom. If I click this, it will allow me to select the class I want to add to. So this automatically reads all of the classes that you have created on the linked account and then allows you to post directly to that class. So if I click on my class here and click OK, that will add this assignment to that Google class. It takes a couple of seconds. And if I go to my classroom in Google Classroom, Paul Raine posted a new assignment via TeacherTools.Digital Niigata JALT demo. Click on it, and then that will show the link. I think because I'm logged in as a student, there we go. There's the link. I click on the link, and then it opens the assignment. The results of the assignment will not go back into Google Classroom. The results of the assignment stay in TeacherTools.Digital. Only the link to the assignment can be shared to your LMS. If you actually want the results of the assignment to be put into the LMS, you have to use a different tool. This platform does not do that. But it does allow you to easily post the assignment to the LMS. Okay. I have another topic I want to talk about, but it's not directly related. So I'm going to ask the questions, and then I'd like to mention the other topic if that's okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. That was excellent. I wish we could all applaud for you.
Thank you.
Could hear it. I'll contribute.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. Yes, so anyone, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A.
And then the raise hand is also available as well. I'll be watching for that.
Yes, thank you, Phil. I had a question, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Can any of these assignments be done by groups of students and gamified?
Now, that's a very good question, and the topic I want to talk about next is the answer to that question.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yes, for my site, TeacherTools.Digital is really only for the teacher-student kind of dynamic. So there isn't really a student-student dynamic here.
Okay.
But I have another solution for that, which I will talk about in a moment, if that's okay.
Oh, great. Okay.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? So, okay, is it okay to? Yes. Is it okay to mention the other topic now?
Sorry, I see one question in the chat.
Yep, I'll take care of that one. That's for us.
Okay. Oh, the one about can people try demos of each activity?
Mm-hmm. Yes, they can. Yes, if they go to the About page on the site, and then they click on the assignment type on the left side, that will launch a demo for that activity type. Yeah. So I want to mention another project. Oliver Rose is in the audience. We work together on several EdTech projects, and Oliver is also an advisor for this site as well. If you go to the About page and then click on the team, you'll see. And we have been working together on another project called Lingo Lab, and Lingo Lab has 3 or 4 different versions that allow students either to play games together or to submit individually. And there's a help site for that. I'm hoping Oliver can provide the link in the chat for the help site.
I could bring Oliver on board.
Yeah, if you don't mind him. Yeah. Oliver, would you like to give a short introduction to Lingo Lab sites?
Let me bring him on board the other side here.
Hello.
Hello.
Am I
Welcome.
Getting through?
Yes, you are. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I'll just put the help site in the chat. Firstly, that gives details of the 3 different versions of this
There we go.
This web app is basically the activity is for practicing sentence making, and the prompt for that can be the Japanese, can be translating from Japanese to English, or it could be a prompt from a sentence, or it can be audio, like a dictation activity. Yeah, but the main focus is that it's a sentence building activity rather than word level.
Can I go through some of these slides, Oliver?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So do you want to briefly describe the slide, and then I'll go to the next one?
Oh, okay. So Melody was asking before about gamified options. So one of the versions of this activity is Lingo Lab Live. So the students are connecting and making playing a quiz game, answering the different questions. So you can do this as a competitive one with everyone just going individually, or you could have students working together, coming up with the answers. Usually when I've done it in class before, I have them sort of collaborating to do that.
Yep. So the address is lingolab.live for that one. And yeah, it allows you to, the students have to build sentences from a prompt. And then whoever builds a sentence first goes to the next question, and whoever answers all the questions first is the winner. So yeah, these are the tools that I've been making for gamifying. Oliver and I have been working together to gamify, language learning.
And the other gamified one is also on the site, the Lingo Bingo one. Maybe you could share that one.
Yep.
Paul. So this is a game, just everyone knows bingo. It's nice and familiar, so it's not hard to get people started on this. So there are different bingo sites out there, but none of them seem to have this kind of live answer checking. So with this site, you can set up a game, and as the teacher, you'll be able to see when people are answering the questions. And so you know how much more to describe the target word or not, and you can tell if everyone's participating. You can have pictures on there, you can have target vocab, and apart from the teacher being able to lead a game, you can have the students lead a game. Like you could, for example, in breakout rooms, have the students in small groups taking turns, leading a bingo game, so that way it's good communicative practice.
Yep. In fact, actually, Melody, if there is a space available, this would be a good topic for a whole other session. There's too much to go through right now, but I wanted to mention it because your question, but also I was going to mention it anyway. But this would be great for another session if you wanted one.
We will likely take you up on it.
Okay, and Oliver, if you're free.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
All right. Okay, so I'll leave that out there. Please click on the link, Lingolab, sites.google.com/view/Lingolab sites help, and that introduces the 4 main sites. And Oliver also has a Kanji learning app as well, which is really good. So yeah, those are my other projects. Yep. Those are my other projects that I've been working on, and if you want to gamify student learning, especially online, distance, all of these work very well in a distance setting as well. So yeah.
Are these free or?
Yes, they are free at the moment.
Yep, they're all free.
Yep, and there's no limits on them either.
No.
Yep.
Great. I'm going to try the kanji one.
There's a message from Wayne says, can we use it on LMS? Wayne, are you talking about the Lingo Lab tools or TeacherTools.Digital?
Let me see if I can pull Wayne out here. Let's see here.
Am I unmuted?
Yep, you are.
Oh, yeah, I was talking about Teacher Tools and at the other ones as well, but mostly Teacher Tools.
Okay, yeah. TeacherTools.Digital, you can, let me just show the relevant information here. If you go to the FAQ, and then how do I integrate with my LMS? You can link to an activity from your LMS by copying the submission link and then putting it on your LMS. And depending on what the LMS is, there are different ways to do that. And there are some instructions given here for Google Classroom, Moodle, and Blackboard. And you can also embed the activity in your LMS by getting the embed code and then following the instructions for Moodle or Blackboard. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yep, yep. The results of the activity, like the actual recording, the audio recording or the video recording, will not go into the LMS. That is stored on TeacherTools servers.
Got it.
Yeah. Which are secure servers using Amazon as a backend. Amazon hosts like 40% of the internet. I read the other day. So you know they have the best security protocols. So yeah.
These can be assigned by QR code too, can't they, Paul? I've had students, like I've shown a QR code to students and then they do the activity on their phone and I can still see them through the Zoom. So that's another way to assign it.
Yep, so if you go to the assignment and click on the cog and then show QR, you could show this to students. If you're sharing your screen via Zoom, you could show students the QR code and they could do it on their phones, and that would free up their computer to continue with the Zoom session. Yeah, so they could be using multiple devices. So again, you know, if you please try out TeacherTools.Digital. There's a very generous, I think, free plan available. And then if you would like to upgrade, there's an offer for 20% off if you contact me using the contact form and ask me for the coupon code. Tell me that let me know that you're in the Niigata JALT webinar, and I can sort you out with that. Okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thanks again. Some of you have been asking about a certificate of attendance, and you can contact Phil Nguyen. And he can send an email with information about that to you. Yeah. He's put his email address. He's put his email address in the chat. Yeah.
Yep, one more time. There we go. That's better.
Okay. Again, round of applause. Round of applause for Paul. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for joining us, people from all over the world. Fantastic. And we hope to see you at our upcoming events.
Thank you very much.
And everyone, all the people participating today, please do fill out the survey. Tell us what you thought about our event today and what you would like in the future.